Hello? Huh? Are we back? Hello? Are we here? Are we here? I know there's latency on this, though. It's going to take a second for people to even respond to me. We're back? Awesome. I don't know why the hell it started doing it again when I switched over to Twitch. That's weird. It wasn't doing it for like the last good portion of TikTok. Christian Ninja Boy was completely unhinged tonight. Yeah, I think we hit the nail too hard on the head too many times, and we're too right about him over and over. Cheers, everybody. We are back. Cheers, Stoner Chick. Trademark. Cheers. Stingray. Cheers. Team, what's up? Boyo, cheers. That symbol just made it seem like I got a subscriber. However, it didn't tell me I got a subscriber. There it is. ID with the subscription for 3 months in a row. With Prime Gaming. Thank you very much. Oh no, you failed your exam. Were you close at least? All right, main cam. Trademark just subscribed for 7 months in a row. 7 months. Wow. That's crazy. It's been this long already. Weird to think about. Oubliette, howdy. How are you? Was there another thing in there? Oh yeah, notice Diamond. I don't think I saw that one. It didn't. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I am glad that I and us as a community could make that 7 months entertaining. All right. So, we have Caroline Levitt, and we have Donald Trump, and there's also a Stephen Miller one, which, yay. Stephen Miller's out in front of the White House speaking about some bullshit. So, but Here we go. Here we go.
Hey, Steve. How are you? Glad you're so
Grab
excited.
these,
to
put
see
them
me
over here.
today. Alrighty. Good afternoon, everybody, and happy Monday. Let's get to it, and we'll begin with a few scheduling announcements today.
Yeah, Stephen Miller's one of the
President Trump
real
will be
bad
hosting
ones to
the
hear speak.
Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney tomorrow for a working meeting here at the White House. On Thursday, the president will host his 8th cabinet meeting.
I wonder how that's going to
alongside
go.
his
Oh,
incredible team.
no, we're doing another cabinet meeting. You know it's going to be for every single person to go around the table and go, well, the damn Democrats shutting down the government. Well, if we didn't have the government shut down, right?
Also on Thursday afternoon,
Oh, it's
President
gonna
Trump
suck.
will host the president of Finland, Alexander Stubb, for a working meeting here at the White House. The president also wanted me to relay his congratulations to Japan for electing their next prime minister, a highly respected person who also
If you're wondering, Japan got a fascist in charge now. So Japan has a...
happens to be the first female to hold the position for our
Things are
great
looking
ally.
bleak.
While President Trump continues to negotiate peace deals, meets with world leaders, and celebrates the 250th birthday of our United States
Hey, think of
Navy,
the
as
bets.
you saw he and the First Lady do just yesterday, Democrats, unfortunately, are continuing to play political games. And we are now in day 6 of the Democrat federal government shutdown. Millions of American federal workers are under enormous financial stress as a result, wondering how they will pay their bills.
Yeah, and
take
apparently the way like that it works in Japan is they vote into power a party, and then that party puts someone as the leader. That's how it goes.
care of their families.
So
if the Democrats
with the
do
other
not
person
vote
not
to
being
open
over
the
there
government tonight,
anymore, they
federal
instead
workers
just
will
put in
not
this person.
receive their next full paycheck. Additionally, the special supplemental nutrition program for women, infants, and children will run out of federal money very soon. This program provides vouchers to buy infant formula, fresh fruits and vegetables, and other healthy foods for low-income
We'll
families.
party and then decide, yeah.
It can be easily fully funded if Democrats simply vote tonight to reopen the government. Also, our incredible military service members who risk their lives to preserve and defend our country are now working without pay and will miss their next paychecks if this Democrat shutdown does not end tonight. The Republican-backed clean
Democrats.
and nonpartisan funding bill fully funds
Also, I should
this
look up what
important
the,
food aid program,
executive
gets our
order was
troops
today.
paid, and reopens the government. So all of this begs the question, what is the Democrat ongoing shutdown truly about? The sad truth, we believe, is that the Democrats intentionally shut down the government and are inflicting this pain on American citizens to try and demand free health care for illegal aliens. Of course, this is an indefensible and truly
believe they're
radical
still
policy
trying
to
to
be
use
in
this
favor
crazy
of,
excuse.
let alone to use as the primary reason to shut down the United States government. So the Democrats and their allies are desperately lying about their true motivations. We have to set the record straight with the facts so the American people understand what's really at play here. House Republicans passed a clean and nonpartisan funding bill to keep the government open and ensure our troops and
Sauce.
other hardworking Americans are paid. Every single House Democrat except one voted against this clean and
Who's the one?
nonpartisan funding bill. Senate Republicans have subsequently tried to pass this same clean funding
Who the
bill
fuck was the
4
one?
separate times, and they will do so again tonight. To fully pass it to be sent to the president's desk for signature, and the president is ready to
Like John
sign
Fetterman?
this bill to reopen the government as
Is
soon
it
as
Fetterman?
it's sent to his desk. Yet every single Senate Democrat except 3 have voted against this
Wait,
clean
3?
and nonpartisan funding bill.
I thought we said one.
The Democrats' current position is that the only way the American government can reopen is if illegal aliens can get free health care. Don't take my word for it, just look at what's inside of the Democrats' proposal to reopen the government. Their funding proposal would result in nearly $200 billion spent on health care for illegal aliens and other non-citizens over the next decade. To put this in perspective, $200 billion is enough money to fund the entire Children's Health Insurance Program, which provides health insurance to low-income children and women. Under the Democrats' proposal, the millions of illegal aliens who improperly were granted asylum and paroled under the Biden administration.
Oh my fucking God, Caroline. Would you shut up with your fucking charts, lady? Just get to the questions, please.
Trying to do every day. The Democrats want to give them the free benefits paid for by the American taxpayer. Democrats in 2025 are for illegal aliens first and Americans last. This is the reality we are unfortunately facing right now in Washington, D.C. President Trump and Republicans will not give in to these radical demands. The president and Republicans have a sacred responsibility to serve and protect the interests of their constituents, the American people. That's why we are backing a clean and nonpartisan funding bill with no strings attached to reopen the government. Democrats should do what they did 13 separate times under Joe Biden and vote for this exact same type of funding bill. Now the Senate will vote tonight for the 5th time to reopen the government on the 6th day of this shutdown. All we need are an additional 5 Democrat senators to end this madness and vote for the clean funding bill to reopen the government. If you are an American watching at home right now, call your Democrat senators and tell them to do the right thing and end this shutdown. With that, I will take your questions. Here in our new media seat today, we have Elizabeth Mitchell from the Daily Signal. Elizabeth, thanks for being here, and please kick us off.
Thank you for having me. I have 2 questions. First, President Trump told reporters yesterday that firings of federal employees are taking place right now. In which departments have people already been fired from their federal jobs due to the shutdown?
The president was referring to the hundreds of thousands of federal workers who have been furloughed as a result of this federal government shutdown, both here at the White House
Currently
and across
reading through this presidential memoranda.
Federal government at agencies across the board.
It's going to be an interesting video coming up next.
Many of them work in the White House. You know them. Some of them sit just behind me at those desks. They are unable to show up to work right now because the Democrats chose to shut the government down. And so we're already, unfortunately, seeing the consequence of this. And then, of course, the Office of Management and Budget is continuing to work with agencies on who, unfortunately, is going to have to be laid off if this shutdown continues.
And Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said the FDA was required by federal law to approve the new abortion pill last week. Is the administration considering steps to undo this in light of requests from pro-life Congress members and organizations?
I think Secretary Kennedy and the Department of Health and Human Services, as I addressed in the briefing last week, were following the law, and we will continue to do so. As I said last week,
So the memorandum from today, the presidential memorandum today, seems to kind of be a wording of martial law.
It's just a law that they were following.
So,
Jennifer.
We heard you say that you want people to call their Democratic senators. Is the president calling Democratic senators himself? Can you say what he's doing today to resolve the shutdown?
Yep, I was just in the Oval Office. He was on the phone with Speaker Johnson. He's also spoken with the Senate Majority Leader, who are in touch with, of course, moderate Democrats and Democrats across the board, who we understand hopefully want to do the right thing by their constituents to reopen the government. So the president is being kept very well apprised of the ongoing shutdown on Capitol Hill. And of course, his position is very clear. There's nothing to negotiate, just reopen the government, and then we can talk about all the important issues facing our country.
So he hasn't called specific members of Congress?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And then on the Affordable Care Act, is he willing to give more, to share more on what he'd like to negotiate on?
Yeah, I'll read the thing out loud once we get to the next video. But
on the Affordable Care Act later, is he willing to say specifically what he would like and when?
This memorandum is not good.
Look, the president is definitely committed to fixing and improving our healthcare system. You saw it again last week when he had one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world coming into the Oval Office and promising to lower drug prices by 200, 300, 100% in many cases for various types of drugs for American patients. That is a huge fix to a broken system that has been ripping off the American people for far too long. So the president's very committed to this. But right now, we need to reopen the federal government, and the president is remaining very firm in that position. Catherine.
If the vote fails in the Senate today to reopen the government, would that trigger layoffs?
Look, again, we hope that the vote will not fail, because This administration wants to reopen the government. We don't want to see people laid off. But unfortunately, if this shutdown continues, layoffs are going to be an unfortunate consequence of that.
Is there a timing for when that would happen?
Well, look, we'll see how the vote goes tonight.
And can you confirm, is the White House floating a proposal to cap Obamacare subsidies by denying them to new enrollees?
I have not seen a proposal like that. Emily.
Thanks, Caroline. The president said yesterday he was considering a phase 2 approach to Venezuela. Is the president considering U.S. boots on the ground or any kind of support of overthrowing Maduro?
I won't get into any specific proposals that are being considered by the president and his national security team, but
I've also now read the other executive order today. Also not good. Not that they're ever good, but these are specifically really not good.
Transparent and clear in the administration's
In two different
view
kind of
the
ways.
illegitimate Maduro regime, and the president has taken very unprecedented, tough action to end the illegal trafficking of illicit drugs into our country from Maduro's illegitimate regime.
Caroline.
Danny, go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. The French government has collapsed again for the
Again.
third time in a year.
Oh my God, is it
and,
really
I'm just
now?
wondering if there's any concern in the White House about the kind of ongoing political crisis there. Any thought about whether the President Trump's good friend, President Macron, should either call elections or even resign over that?
Well, I can tell you the White House and the National Security Council are very much aware of this situation, but I think it would be imprudent of me to weigh in on French internal politics from the podium. So
I didn't
will
realize
reserve
it was that
comment
many
on
times already in
Behind
that
you,
period.
yes.
What is President Trump's expectations for talks today and I guess this week in Egypt? And is there a new timeline that the president is giving all sides to reach an agreement?
Yes, there are technical talks happening right now in Egypt amongst Special Envoy Witkoff and Mr. Kushner, as well as the respective parties from all sides. What we saw take place on Friday, and I have not commented on that from the podium yet, is truly remarkable. You've seen all sides of this conflict agree that this war needs to end and agree to the 20-point framework that President Trump proposed. It's an incredible achievement.
not
and
agreed to the
administration is
20-point
working
framework.
very hard
Recycling
to
what's
move
up.
the ball forward as quickly as we can. The president wants to see a ceasefire.
Sharon,
He
yeah,
wants
I
to see the
mean,
hostages released,
Mr.
and the technical teams are discussing that as we speak to ensure that the environment is perfect to release those hostages. They're going over the lists of both the Israeli hostages and also the political prisoners who will be released, and those talks are underway, and the president is very much on the ball and is being apprised of this situation.
The president has given a Sunday evening deadline. Obviously, the negotiations have extended that, I imagine. What is that new deadline? Does the president have a
2
time
weeks.
frame in
Give it
mind
2
to see
weeks. How's
this
it going? It's
phase
going all right. We've had one
implemented?
internet drop
Well,
out
the
in
Sunday
Twitch so
evening
far.
deadline was to hear back from Hamas on the
See?
proposal one way or another. And of course, on Friday, Hamas put out a very clear statement in the president's view that they accept the president's framework, and that's why those technical talks are now underway. But again, we want to move very quickly on this, and the president wants to see the hostages released as soon as possible. Steve.
Expect those technical talks to last, Caroline?
I don't want to draw a red line up here, Steve. Of course, it's very important, as I just mentioned, that we get this done quickly. That's how the president's team feels, so we can get some momentum, get the hostages out, and then move to the next part of this, which is really ensuring that we can create a lasting and durable peace in Gaza, and ensure that Gaza is a place that no longer threatens the security of Israel or the United
Oh
States.
my God.
You expect to be on the agenda for the president's
How the
meeting
fuck
with
would
Prime
Gaza
Minister
threaten the
Trump?
United
I'm sure
States?
trade will be a topic of discussion tomorrow.
What the
and
hell
all
is
of
she
the other
talking
issues that
about?
are facing both Canada and the United States. I know the president looks forward
Something
to
tells
having
me
that
that is
discussion
not
with
gonna go
Carney in
well
the Oval
tomorrow.
Office. Caitlin.
Thanks, Caroline. I have two questions. On the layoff of federal workers, potentially, the president said yesterday that Democrats will be to blame if federal workers lose their jobs. Historically, though, in past shutdowns, workers have been furloughed, but they have not been laid off en masse. So wouldn't that be the president's call to lay people off?
As I've said repeatedly, Caitlin, this conversation about layoffs would not be happening right now if the Democrats did not vote
Wait,
to
but
shut the government
that's
down.
not an answer to the
And
question.
As I also said,
That's not
last
an answer at
briefing as
all.
Well, we are $37 trillion in debt.
But the
And
Democrats.
the government is not receiving any cash. So someone has to look at the balance sheet and be good stewards of the American taxpayer dollar. And layoffs are an unfortunate consequence of that.
First term, for example.
Well, as I'm telling you now, this administration is focusing on checking the balance sheet and ensuring we're doing the right thing by the American taxpayer. And again, these conversations about layoffs would not be happening in the White House today if not for the Democrat shutdown. And they
We
have
got
a choice
another
to change
pivot.
that. They have another opportunity tonight to do the right thing to reopen the government. Joey.
Judge
Yeah,
over
thanks,
the
Caroline.
weekend. Sorry, my second question. A federal judge over the weekend that the president had appointed to the bench in his first term in office basically argued that he could not deploy other states' National Guards to Portland. Basically said that it was untethered, his argument, to what is actually happening on the ground. Which local officials in Portland have said that the National Guard is needed there?
With all due respect to that judge, I think her opinion is untethered in reality and in the law. The president is using his authority as commander-in-chief, U.S. Code 12406.
The president doesn't just get to do whatever the fuck he wants with the National Guard, nor can they just act
Which
as
clearly
law
states that
enforcement.
the president has the right to call up the National Guard in cases where he deems it's appropriate. And if you look
No,
at what
it's
has
under
happened
specific
in Portland,
cases.
Oregon, for more than 100 nights, I was talking to our law enforcement team about it this morning, for more than 100 days, night after night after night, the ICE facility has been really under siege by these anarchists outside. They have been
Anarchist? Anarchist? Whew. Yeah, how to spot the fucking... If you're ever at a protest and someone's like, yeah, I'm an anarchist. Yo, be like, hey, take your mask off, Fed boy. Take your mask off. What the fuck are you... I'm an anarchist. Okay.
Disrespecting law enforcement. They've been inciting violence. We saw, again, a guillotine rolled out in front of this federal building. And so the president
Did
wants
anyone's
to ensure that our federal
head get
buildings
chopped
and our
off yet?
assets are
Yet?
protected.
No.
And that's exactly what he's trying to do. And
It's called free
ultimately,
speech.
In the case in Los Angeles, that judge ruled in the Ninth Circuit, that panel of judges ruled that those troops could remain and that the president was well within his authority to do so. So we are appealing that decision. As you know, we expect a hearing on it pretty quickly, and we're very confident in the president's legal authority to do this, and we're very confident we will win on the merits of the law.
Where's my...
Officials that you can
Same.
point to that have said we need the National Guard? Because I spoke to the police chief of Portland last week. He said that the president's claims just don't match up with what's happening.
Curtis
on the
Yarvin
ground.
is considering
encourage
fleeing
you
the
as
U.
a
I
reporter
heard
to
about
go
that,
on the
yeah.
ground and to take a look
I
at
saw
it for
something on
yourself,
like
because there's been many
TikTok
members
about it
of the
earlier, but that was
press,
all.
Not press in this room, but independent journalists, some of whom we'll be inviting to the White House very soon to share their stories, because they have been in the middle of these riots and they have witnessed the anarchy that is taking place night after night. It's on video. You should play it on your show. You have a great opportunity on prime time on CNN to show your audience. Yeah, but you're probably talking to partisan Democrat officials who are opposed to everything this president does. You should also ask the people who live in Portland. We've actually heard from many members of the community who have said that this is complete civil disobedience. It's a mess.
There's
It's
anarchy.
been loud. It's been
There's anarchy
troubling
going.
for neighbors in the community who are just trying to live peacefully. And these people are not there to peacefully protest. They are there to cause mayhem.
They are not there to peacefully protest.
And havoc.
Yeah, Caroline.
Steven,
Can't even
go
like
ahead.
think of her own lies well enough.
Two questions. First, do you have a reaction to reports that thousands of Cuban troops are deployed alongside Russia fighting in Ukraine? And on a very different matter, the president last week floated in an interview with our colleague Daniel from One America a rebate for tariffs of up to $2,000 per person. Is that plan contingent on the Supreme Court's upcoming ruling on the legality of the tariffs? And is the White House preparing for legislation to make that happen?
Sure. On the first point, I have not seen that report, Stephen, but I'll check in with our national security team after this and we'll get you an update. To your second point about the tariff rebates, I think it's an idea that the president has discussed and floated with his team of advisors, but no
nothing.
decision has been firmly made at this
So
point.
nothing. No,
Why
there
don't
will
we
be
go to
no
that?
money.
Owen,
Good afternoon.
good afternoon.
A few days ago, President Trump demanded Jay Jones of Virginia get out of the race for condoning political violence in a text message against a Republican
Delta, what's up?
politician a few years ago. He hasn't left the race. He hasn't dropped out. What's the president's reaction?
Well, as you know, I'm not at liberty to discuss political races from the podium. I think the president himself made his position very clear, and I think anyone could agree the messages that were sent by this
Oh
Democrat
wait,
nominee
hold
for
on.
Attorney
Why
General in
why all of a
Virginia-
sudden do we care about your ability to discuss political things on the podium? What? How is it that all of a sudden you care about that in
are
this one
really
instance?
Shocking, alarming, and completely unacceptable. He was threatening to kill his opponent and his opponent's children, and that type of rhetoric has zero place in our country, and the president was absolutely right to condemn that.
One more, please.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. The Democrats have questioned and scrutinized the president's comments about using potentially the military, American cities, as training grounds for the military. And when you look at Portland, Chicago, local and state officials say that their local law enforcement is able to handle the situations, these protests on the ground. The president says that Portland is burning, using that as justification for the National Guard in Portland. But when you look here in Washington, D.C., the president just last week said it is now a completely safe city, and there are still National Guard members on the streets that are not involved in ICE activities. Can you provide the justification for the White House here in Washington, D.C., why the National Guard members continue to be out on the streets?
Because
Otherwise, it
Washington,
wouldn't be
D.C. has
safe.
invited the National Guard here. Why? Because the mayor
Why?
is doing the right thing,
Because-
unlike mayors in other cities,
because-
like Portland, as Caitlin and others have pointed out.
They did
who
it because-
refuse to see that there are positive results from when local law enforcement works with federal law enforcement to do the right thing on behalf of their citizens. And Washington, D.C. is no doubt a safer city.
Imagine how
right
expensive
now
it would
today
be
than it was a
for
few
them to
months
just
ago
put
when
soldiers in
President
every
Trump
city
started
everywhere
this
all the
initiative to
time.
make D.C. safe again.
How
And
fucking
the National
dumb.
Guard is still here because the
How stupid.
president and the mayor agree that it's a good thing for the city. Just like you're seeing in Memphis, for instance. We'll have National Guard deployed to Memphis. We have federal agents who are on the ground working with state and local law enforcement. The state police in Tennessee are part of this effort. The local metropolitan police in Memphis are part of this effort. State and local law enforcement and federal law enforcement should be working together, and it's a shame
So TikTok today
that
where
we
I
see in
was
some
back in
cities
your
across the
corner and
country
local law
that
enforcement
their
went out.
mayors
Really?
are just simply refusing
Good.
to cooperate because they don't like Donald Trump. And
Good
that's
night,
what this
boyo.
boils down to. And I don't think any American would disagree that Chicago needs more law enforcement reinforcements, that they need more resources. Look at this headline from over the weekend. At least 30 people shot during the weekend in Democrat-run Chicago. 5 of them were killed in one weekend. This is completely unacceptable.
how many of
and
them
the
were
president
shot
wants to
by
make
ICE
American cities
officers?
safer, and he's willing to work with anyone to do it.
Because the
If
answer
the
should be
courts allow
zero.
you to ultimately send in the National Guard into Chicago and Portland, do Democrats not have reason to be concerned that there are long-term plans by this administration to keep U.S. military or the National Guard in American cities, like what we are seeing here in Washington?
Why should they be concerned about the federal government offering help to make their cities a safer place? They should be concerned about this. They should be concerned about the fact that people in their cities right now
should be concerned about what we're
are
talking
being
about.
gunned down every single night.
The
And
things
the
that we're
president,
saying.
all he's trying to do is fix it. And there has been a
Do not look
complete
at the man
smear
behind the curtain.
campaign by the Democrats
Do
and
not.
the media, quite frankly. I was reading Political Playbook this morning, one of the most inside the Beltway newsletters you can find. And you guys are framing this like the president wants to take over the American cities with the military. The president
exactly
wants
what
to
he wants
help
to do.
These local leaders who have been completely ineffective in securing their own cities. And we have already seen there's a positive formula for that. Look at Washington, D.C. The
Oh my
murder
God.
rate has declined significantly. Our streets are safer. People who live
Washington,
here feel safer.
D.C.
All of you in this room, I know you do, you just
Washington,
won't admit
D.C.
it. And it's a proven system that works, and the president wants to make America's cities safe again. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Michael.
Thank you, Caroline. 2 questions, if I may.
Because the mayor wants them. Michael.
Because the mayor wants him here.
Hamas does agree to relinquish power and give it up, cede power to this
She's so pissed
transitional
off.
technocratic government. If that does happen, would the Trump administration then recognize a Palestinian state?
Look, I don't want to get ahead of the technical talks right now, Michael. They're extremely sensitive. They're taking place, again, as we speak, and there's a lot of
Answer's
there's
no.
many things to discuss, of course.
The answer's no.
Hopefully, we expect and we hope going to be one of the greatest peace deals this world has ever seen. And the Trump administration is working diligently and working very hard to get there. And as I said, Friday, all terms agreed. We have the Arab countries who are working with us. Of course, Israel has been incredible in cooperating with the president's plan and agreeing to it.
Oh, you know how we could
we're
make Israel
very
stop?
hopeful, and we
We could
expect
stop
that to
fucking
continue.
giving them the
Tweeted
bombs.
about this
Sure,
over the
go ahead.
weekend.
Stop paying them.
And I was going to you in the blue shirt and tie.
Thank you,
Yes,
Caroline.
you're
John
welcome.
Michael, the Daily Mail. Today, the Supreme Court declined to hear Ghislaine Maxwell's appeal. Will Trump rule out granting her clemency? Is that something the White House is considering?
It's not something I've heard discussed, and we don't comment on clemency requests that may or may not have been made, but I'm certainly not tracking that one at this point in time.
Caroline.
Jordan, go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. So we're talking about these radical groups in Portland and Chicago. I know the president has spoken about potentially going after George Soros with RICO charges and for funding all of this violence. Has there been any update on that? And also, is the administration looking into
Any
the other
updates on George
nonprofits, maybe
Soros?
taking away their 501c3 status for funding this violence? And one more question.
Sure. The financial backing of these groups, particularly Antifa, is certainly something the administration is looking into aggressively. And the federal government has never really been mobilized or tasked with doing that. So we're kind of kickstarting that into gear. The FBI is working on it alongside the White House's Homeland Security Task Force. We have our intelligence community looking into this as well. And even the Secretary of Treasury is involved with these matters since they are financial in nature. And we will continue to get to the bottom of who is funding these organizations in this organized anarchy against our country and our government. It's a question the American people have been begging the answer for many years, and we're committed to uncovering it.
Yeah,
and
we
when
really
do,
got to look into
I'm sure
more
you'll be
George
one of the
Soros
first people to
stuff.
know.
Separately,
Jonathan.
Caroline.
Thank you. So Gaza, under the president's plan, is going to be governed by a transitional governance of a technocratic, apolitical Palestinian committee made up of qualified Palestinians and international experts. Now, given how radicalized the Palestinian population is in Gaza and in the West Bank, can you offer some insight or guidance into who are some of these Palestinians that are going to be considered for leadership roles in Gaza, and where are you going to be finding them, and do you have any names?
Just put all these people under like we gotta like call the hydraulic press channel. We got some stuff we gotta smush.
We're not quite there yet, Jonathan. The president believes peace is possible in Gaza, and that's why he presented this detailed and comprehensive plan. The first step of that is securing a ceasefire and releasing the hostages, and then those conversations about ensuring a durable and lasting peace can continue. But what do you need to have peace in a region like Gaza that's been war-torn for far too long? You need security guarantees, and you need good governance. And so those will be two of the priorities that this administration is focused on.
If I may, the president has said he wants the government to reopen this week in a deal. What's going to happen by the end of the week if there's no deal? What's the White House prepared to do?
With no deal with what?
To reopen the government.
Look, as I said, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of pain inflicted. There already is on the American public, on our troops who are not being paid, again, on women and young children who depend on critical food assistance. We hate to see this. And in fact, the Office of Management and Budget is trying to do everything they can to find funds to get out the door for these vulnerable populations in our country. Again,
Yeah, I feel like one of these days that Caroline's just gonna like walk in here and she's gonna have like patches of her own hair like ripped out from her just like stressing and freaking out. Like I feel like it's going to get to that point.
It's a dispute, and so for the first time in history, a president is actually using that authority. President Trump.
All right, so this is the executive orders and things. Technically, they're both memorandums, I believe, but this is it's labeled as executive orders. Neither of them are. Let me just check one more time. This is a memoranda, and this is also a memoranda. Yep, neither of them are executive orders. They just like to use that word.
For the benefit of the American people, and the appeal came in from the state of Alaska
Donald Trump already sleeping?
Built. Alaska's not a colony; they're a state. They have an opportunity to build roads like any other state. With this signing, President Trump, Alaska can go ahead and build this road. It'll be a toll road, not a public road. It's a toll road, so it'll be controlled in terms of traffic. It's a gravel road.
So here's what they're making. Bring it up for a second. The one memoranda is to make this. It's called the Ambler Road Project, a 211-mile industrial road in Alaska that would provide access to the remote Ambler mining district containing deposits of critical minerals like copper and cobalt. Now, the Biden admin rejected this. The previous Biden admin had halted the project, citing environmental impact assessment that found significant threats to caribou migration, wildlife, and traditional native subsistence lifestyles and traditional native subsistence lifestyles. So the Biden admin rejected this before. Donald Trump came in and is like, we're going to build a big fucking toll road. We're going to build a huge industrial road. 211 miles.
Sensitive to the environment. There'll be collaboration with the Native Alaskan.
It'll be sensitive to the environment. What the fuck does that even mean?
How it's used, supporting the Alaskan Native tribes with subsistence hunting regulations on either side of this. But this opens up a wealth of.
Wait, that's literally what I just brought up. That's what he's saying it's going to be good for that. That's the opposite of what the actual scientists were saying when they fucking cancel it in the first place. When they looked at it and they said this would be bad for those things, he just came out and was like, this is going to be great for all those things.
Resources. In addition, there's going to be an announcement made later today that is part of this announcement that the Department of War, the United States government is making an investment in Trilogy Minerals. They're one of the companies that has mining claims in this area that is a remote wilderness right now. And again, making that investment so we can make sure that we're securing these critical mineral supplies and that ownership in that company will benefit the American people. With that, I'll kick it over to Chris Wright.
Thank you, Doug, and what a huge thank you to the president.
Jesus Christ, who the fuck is this? Why? Who the hell did they just talk? He's like, okay, time to start speaking.
This is a tremendous achievement for the people of
Seemed like he was confused that
we were in the
even
North
got
Slope
spoke
of
to.
Alaska a few months ago, celebrating energy development there. They want jobs and opportunity to develop the resources on their lands. This is another major step forward. We say energy is
want
the
to destroy all of Alaska.
society, the circulatory system. Minerals and metals.
Money.
There's a skeletal infrastructure.
money.
Physical upholding of everything we do. Everywhere we walk and operate, your cameras, everything you hold are made out of metals and minerals. President Biden thought it was appropriate to offshore both of these industries outside of our country. That is not term, and even more strongly in his second term, is bringing those industries back to our country. America was a mining powerhouse for a long, long time, and our mining industry got squelched. Now we're seeing it come back to life. You saw the president.
Yeah, bring back mining. That's what we really need, is to bring back mining, right? I'm sure that's going to be great. All right, I'm going to go make peeps. Right back. We're going to garden after that and continue. There's a new Diggy Grave song. I'll play that and we will smoke. I also got these edibles to take. Puppet. Let's see. All right. Cheers, everybody. God damn, that tastes terrible. Got a more somber song from Diggy Graves this time. Not bad. I like the like the beat. Stoner Chick, cheers. Oubliette, cheers. Barbels, cheers. Cheers, Roger. Trademark, cheers.
President's Truth not long ago about a deal for lithium production in Nevada just a week or so ago. This will more than tenfold increase American lithium production, and this
Also,
infrastructure, this
Forbes has it only on my
mining
left
zone,
ear
the Amarillo
again.
Mining district will just
Absolutely
have
annoying.
immense impact on future mining opportunities for our country's security and economic opportunities for the people of Alaska. Our critical minerals and mining expert within the administration is standing right next to me, David Copley. I'll see if he wants to add any words.
This is a really big deal for the American
Yeah,
mining
there's
industry. I
like
think it shows
there
the
are
president-
I really wanted to see a lot more of the generals and things speaking after that meeting. I think we should be seeing a lot more of that, but a lot of these places are not playing any of that.
seriousness about getting this industry going and making sure we have the critical minerals we need for our defense industrial base and for our broader economy.
Thank you very much. And I think we want to get this going by a certain time, so I signed it. And Will, I'm going to give it to you, and you get it filed. And good job. Thank you, sir. It's a big job. Thank you very much.
That's a big job. Good job. Here you go. Big job. Good job. Pat yourself on the back.
So we created a great deal of wealth for that part of the world and that part of our country by doing this long, very difficult road to build, and we'll be talking about that sometime later. But it's a great deal for our country. It's a great deal for the people of our country and for the taxpayers of our country. And if you have any questions on that, let me know. Steve?
When do you expect the road to be constructed, and how quickly will it get underway?
Well, this road, as I said, industrial road, it'll have ownership. It'll likely be split between the state of Alaska, the federal government, and the Native Alaska corporations. We would expect that construction would begin next spring with planning throughout this winter.
The ownership is going to be split. between the government, the state, and the corporations in Alaska.
The 211-mile long road will be a gravel road with a solid design base to handle the weight of the trucks that are going in and out. This is typical design that far north.
With a solid what
trucks
base?
that are going in and out with a solid design base to handle the weight of the trucks that are going in and out. This is typical design that far north because asphalt with a freeze-thaw cycle, very difficult with asphalt or concrete. So gravel, a fantastic gravel road is going to have the least impact on the environment.
Also, welcome back, Boyle. Sorry you can't
sleep.
sleepies.
Alaska's done this in the past with the Red Dog mine. They built a toll road that again has ownership. The companies that use the road pay to transit that road. So this is an economic model used around the world in mining districts. We'll apply it right here. And again, it's going to generate revenue for the American people and for the citizens of Alaska as opposed to a cost.
And also 2 bridges. We're going to build 2 bridges that will be able to complete, and we'll get them up very quickly.
And how long to complete the 211 miles?
Yeah, we'll get it done in less than a year.
It's going to come in three phases. The first road, as President Trump said, will go quickly, which is they call it a pilot road. We'll build a single lane gravel road through the full duration of it. That'll be then expanded.
So I decided to look up the last thing he just said. He said the Red Dog mine. So I looked up. I was like, all right, let's see. I looked up environmental impact of the Red Dog mine in Alaska. Because I'm curious. Of course. The environmental impacts have led to regulatory violations and numerous spills of process waste. Key environmental concerns: toxic chemical releases, water contamination, soil and vegetation contamination, acid rock drainage, air quality. Then I start scrolling down a little bit more, see some of these. Red Dog Mine, Alaskan Department of Environmental Conservation, concerns of possible exposure to elevated concentrations of minerals. After that, EPA says Red Dog Mine failed to identify hazardous waste. After that is an article called "The Most Toxic Town in America." The Red Dog Mine is the source of the most of the toxic pollution near Kotzebue. I'm not sure how to say that. Kotzebue, Alaska. So if you're wondering even what they're referencing as like the good examples of this shit, it's really, really bad.
To a second phase and then a third phase over time. But
oh, how,
again,
the
we'll
word?
get that
Yeah,
pilot
sure.
road built, 'cause then we can help
Copy.
get materials back to help the mine get started quickly as well.
Paste. That. I don't know how to pronounce that. How close do you think I was?
Yeah. It was reported by Axios over the weekend that you had a call with Prime Minister Netanyahu where you told him to stop being so negative and to take the win when it came to Hamas's response to that. Is that true? And
No, it's not true. He's been very positive. He's been very positive on the deal. Everybody is. I think every nation is. We have just about every nation working on this deal and trying to get it done. Something that you could say 3,000 years if you look at it in certain ways, or you could say centuries.
Some of the things released, the toxic chemicals from the Red Dog mine include cadmium, chromium, mercury, and lead.
But this is a deal that incredibly everyone just came together. They all came together. No, Israel's been great. They've all been good, Caitlin.
And in the negotiations, do you have any red lines in terms of Hamas disarming and whatnot? Are there
No,
any
I have
places
red
you're
lines.
looking
If certain things aren't met, we're not going to do it. But I think we're doing very well, and I think Hamas has been agreeing to things that are very important.
Mr. President, on the government shutdown, Mr. President, if the vote today fails in the Senate, will that trigger layoffs?
It could, at some point it will, and you know, the Democrats are the ones that started this, and if you think about it, it's about health care to a large extent. It's about, we want great health care for people. We don't want to give the money away to other people that come pouring in.
Yeah, I really hate capitalism too. This shit sucks.
Coming into our country now, we have the border totally stopped.
This year
In
really
fact, the
sucks.
numbers we just announced again, we're at another 0. So we have 0 for 4 months in a row. 0 people
Sure we
coming
do,
into our
Donald.
country
0.
illegally.
Still
That's
0.
a pretty
That
good number. I'm not
makes
sure
sense. Lots of
even I can
sense.
believe that,
Big
but
sense.
It's one of the truth. 0.
Ah,
We went
yes.
from
Big
millions
sense.
of
I
people
make
to
so much
0,
big
but
sense. Okay.
It's pretty close to that number. And
How?
we
Pretty close to
the
0,
way
so
you
it's
stop it
not
is
0.
Not to give away, not to announce that you're giving everybody
Can't be negative.
free health care, free this and that. But what that does, it affects the American people because the American people are unable to get good health care. Obamacare has been a wreck, as you know, and to do that, we have to keep it propped up and
You stupid fuck.
do the best you can.
You
but it's a
stupid
mess.
fuck.
But a lot of things are going on in that. You know, we talk about
Good
Hamas.
God.
Then we talk about
What?
negotiations that we have going on.
Oh,
right
switching
now.
to what is going on in this man's noggin?
That could lead to very good things. And I'm talking about good things with regard to health care.
Are you speaking with Democratic leaders? What kind of negotiations?
Well, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. But we are speaking with the Democrats.
Katsabayu?
Some very good things could happen with
Kate?
respect to health care.
Kate? Sabayu?
If we made the right deal, I'd make a deal, sure. I mean, you have right now subsidies. You have subsidies. That's the problem with Obamacare. The subsidies are so much. It's billions and billions of dollars is being wasted. And we can have a much better health care than we have right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that still haven't been sent back. I think Greta was only arrived in Greece like this morning, right? I believe.
I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen because this has also been going on, not for 3,000 years, but it's been going on for a long time. But
Katsubiyu.
You would work to make a deal with them on.
I'd like to see a deal made for great health care. Yeah, I want to see great health. I'm a Republican, but I want to see health care much more so than.
I'm a Republican, but I like health care. He had to come out and say, I know these Republicans, you know, they just say, I want to take all your health care away. And that's exactly what I'm doing, but hold on.
All of this, as you know, the American people are experiencing a lot of pain with any kind of government shutdown. And while you're dealing with Democrats,
Yeah, it's what those do,
Republicans are standing their ground, what is your message
Gustav,
to
thank you
American
for the
people
follow.
who may encounter some of this pain and despair? How do you give them hope?
Well, up till now, there hasn't been a great deal of pain. There could be a great deal of pain, but up till
I'm sorry. What the fuck have we been dealing with then? Oh, yeah, no, we're good. No, everything is peaches and cream here. I'm perfectly fine. We're looking great. Everything's cheap. I'm making so much money.
now, there hasn't been. I will say this: just hang in there because I think a lot of good things are going.
He's like, it could get significantly worse. That's his fucking. He's like, I mean, we've seen nothing yet. It could get so much worse.
happen.
Yeah, so much worse for him is him starting to feel the pain of not being able to do something.
Say, I mean, I think a lot
like,
of good
I haven't
things
felt
can happen,
nothing.
and that could also pertain to health care.
Follow-up question.
I've seen a surge in attacks on ICE agents across the country, including the shooting in Dallas and over the weekend in Chicago. We saw 10 cars.
The shooting in Dallas. Why are we bringing up this shooting with the guy didn't actually kill any ICE officers? Why are we still bringing up the shooting with a guy killed 1 to 2? I honestly don't know because the number's been so misreported at this point. People who were detained in the back of a truck and then hit another. I don't know why we're still bringing this up, news.
Yeah.
We have heard Secretary Long saying that some of these attackers are actually organized and they're planning to kill and ambush these officers.
Right.
What are the consequences for you?
Very severe. We're going to have very severe. We're going to find out who's going after our federal agents. So when you look at Chicago, they've had probably 50 murders in the last 6 or 7 months, 8 months.
Oh my God.
Many, many people shot, like 30, 40, 50 people shot.
He doesn't know.
Die, but
He's
they
just
were
saying
shot.
numbers.
It's like a war zone.
1,000 people.
To the governor and the
20,000.
how they have
Maybe even 1 million.
It's probably worse than almost any city in the world. You could go to Afghanistan. You can go to a lot of different places, and they probably marvel at how much crime we have. Then you go to Memphis, where we are right now. Now, it's just like in Washington D.C. right now. You people know better than I do. because you have to live right inside.
I feel like every day we're living in a powder
Come to
keg.
me, they've said, I can't believe
And
it,
this
it's
man is
changed
just
so much."
sitting there with a
We have
lighter.
safe city in
He
Washington.
keeps
Memphis
pressing
will
it, but
very
it
soon be a
won't
safe
start.
city.
He's
Chicago
just sitting there
is
like,
very, very safe.
motherfucking,
It's
come
gonna be
on,
very safe.
come on.
But Chicago is going to be very safe. And you say, why is it that a governor wouldn't accept free help from regardless? I mean, whether it's National Guard or the military or anybody. I mean, if women raped and beaten and knocked to hell, and the same with men where they're being shot all over the place in large numbers. I mean, we had a week in Chicago where 11 people were murdered and 38 people were shot. And then we have a governor get up and say, oh, it's safe, we can handle it. He can't handle it. He's an incompetent guy. That's why they threw him out of the family business. They threw him out. I knew the family business very well, and they threw him out, and now he's a governor. And he should say, we'd love to have a safer place. Chicago's a great city potentially. You know, I told you, the head of the Union Pacific Railroad said, sir, save Chicago. It's a great
And
city.
he, in case you'd forgotten that the head of the Union Pacific Railroad is the one that told them to send the National Guard to Chicago. In case you forget, he wants to remind you.
Don't do it. We have no choice but
Just
to
a
do
reminder,
the
this
same.
is because
When
of
judges
the
give us
head of the
rulings
Union
that,
Pacific Railroad.
You know, you don't have to.
It feels like he's like, this military takeover is brought to you by the Union Pacific Railroad. Wow, how would I get anywhere if it weren't for a train?
Do it. Portland is
This is
on
fucking
fire.
like,
Portland's been on fire for years.
has it now?
Not so much saving it. We have to save something else because I think that's all insurrection. I really think that's.
You said-
we have been on
wait,
fire
what?
for years, and not so much saving it. We have to save something else because I think that's all insurrection. I really think that's really criminal insurrection. So I appreciate the question.
We're not really gonna try and like save it. We're still gonna send them there, but what we're not trying to do is we're not trying to save it. What the fuck does that mean, Donald? What do you mean you're gonna send them there, but you're not trying to save it?
These are unsafe places. We're going to make them safe. So you see what's going on in Memphis. Not pretty, but you know what? We're doing a pretty job because it's going to be a very safe place in a little while. And the people of Memphis are so happy that we're there. And the people of Chicago. So you have black women with MAGA hats on in Chicago.
Oh my fucking God. I feel like I fell in some sort of scientific equipment on like a different planet and I've ended up here. I feel like there was some sort of like nuclear reactor explosion and instead of getting superpowers, I was sent to the absolute dumbest timeline in possible existence.
All over the place. They want the guard to come in, or they don't care who comes in. They just want to be safe. And they really don't care. You know, there was one woman, she was great today. She said, you know what? I don't care if it's the National Guard, the Army, the Marines, the Air Force. I don't care who comes in as long.
How would the Air Force go in? How would the Air Force go into a United States city? What the fuck?
And that's the way most of the public feels. We're going to make Chicago really great again, and we're going to stop this crime. Then we're going to go to another one, and we're going to go city by city. We're going to have safe cities. And it was so great that we started with our nation's capital, one of the worst. I mean, so many people, every week, somebody was killed. They'd come from Iowa, they'd come from Indiana, they want to see the Jefferson Memorial, the Lincoln.
What is up with him and these people coming in from Iowa and Indiana? These people would be coming in from Iowa and Indiana to come to D.C. and then what happens? They're dead. And then they're dead. They step foot in D.C. and then they hit Gotham. The Joker comes out and 60 of his goons. Fucking Batman swoops down.
They want to see something and they'd get shot. And you'd call their parents, I'm sorry, but your son is dead. And they go, what do you mean he's dead? came to Washington, D.C. Not anymore. That's not happening anymore. We have a safe place. We have a safe capital. It's as safe as we have probably almost just about in the country. And if you look back 6 months ago, 7 months ago, this was a death trap. You look back during the Biden, I mean, what they did, how badly they managed things. And almost all of these cities, most of these cities are Democrat run. And we don't care, Democrat, Republican, we're going to make them safe. So we have to save Chicago. It's very important. And you can't have a governor getting up and saying it's good when 11 people were shot.
At this point, they support him out of their own narcissistic sociopathy of not caring about anyone else, but for some reason thinking of their own self-importance to be so high that when he's talking, he's directly speaking about like the enemy, and they're of course not the enemy. They're the ones that Donald Trump is going to give like a big fucking palace floating in the sky to.
Over a weekend. What?
The Insurrection Act, under what conditions or terms would you?
Well, I do it.
I have no idea. I don't know what that is. He goes, I don't know what that is. What the insurrection? What is that an insurrection even?
People were being killed, and courts were holding us up, or governors or mayors were holding us up. Sure, I do that. I mean, I want to make sure.
Yeah, if a court told me no. Yeah. Consent. How do you say that? Consent.
It's turning out, and
well,
we
I
saw
can't
it
finish
in
it.
DC. It's been so successful. Think of it. People wouldn't go to restaurants. The restaurants were closing. We were losing a lot of restaurants, as you all know. And now restaurants are opening and they're thriving.
Oh yeah, I bet you that there's so many people going down to DC now, right? I bet you that there's so many people going, you know where I want to fucking go right now? Washington, DC. I want to go and have a nice evening in Washington, D.C. while the National Guard stand outside with, like, tanks and shit. That's what I want. Oh, I want National Guard to be outside just with rifles ready to go while I sit inside and eat some spaghetti.
I felt very safe, very safe. Forgetting about guards and Secret Service, I would have gone. It would have been very safe. D.C. is
like that weekend. Yeah, I had hope that weekend. I had, like, a genuine shred of hope.
You don't have.
We did not see him again, though, for the early part of this month for, like, what was it, 3 or 4 days before he came in and started doing something again. That was a similar period of time to, like, a month ago when we were missing him, when he was, like, gone. He could be doing monthly treatments at the beginning of the month at this point.
Through the park, people
Curious if we see it next month.
And there were violent people.
I hope that we don't see it next month because there's no opportunity for him to get to next month. That's what I'm like, fingers crossed.
Again. And if you look at it in 6 months from now, it'll be the most beautiful anywhere in the world. It's being cleaned. The graffiti's all gone now. The tents are all gone. We have a capital that you can be proud of, but it'll only get better with time.
Mr. President, tomorrow is October 7th, the 2-year anniversary of the original Israeli attack. Do you expect the Gaza deal tomorrow, or is it any sort of...
I want to imagine if it happened from like him golfing and you just hear someone in the distance yell 4 and then a golf ball beans him in the head and then he just doesn't get back up.
We're gonna have it soon. I think we're gonna have a deal. It's a hard
He's like
thing for
about
me
to
say that
swing.
when for
He's
years
about
and
to
years
swing
they've
at a
been trying
golf
to have
course.
deal with Gaza.
And then just a golf ball out of nowhere. Bam!
Literally for centuries, okay, if you really think about it. But we're going to have a Gaza deal, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Just a giant golf ball memorial
Well, I'm the
made
one
out of
that got the
solid
hostages
gold.
Back. Remember that, you know? I'm the one that...
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, I got him back.
Israeli citizens are celebrating what you've accomplished in this deal. Should it come through, there will be a lot of celebration on the streets of Israel. The hostages' families, have they been in contact with you with regard to this deal that could happen?
They're so happy about it. It's like they can't breathe. One said, I can't breathe. You know, it's very sad because you have hostages and you have people that are no longer living. But the parents, and I've said this to you many times, the parents...
Did he ever say anything about the Epstein statue? I don't think he said anything publicly about the Epstein statue yet. Maybe someone in his admin has made a comment. I'm not sure. I feel like if he knew about it explicitly, it just would not be there anymore.
They're dead.
They're probably trying not to inform him because they know he's immediately going to go and tell them to like chop it in half again. They're like, we can't, just don't let him know. He can't, even if he gets up close to it, he can't read and his eyes are too far gone. He won't know.
Probably 32 or so, about that number. Nobody knows exactly what the number is. They want that body back as much as if their son were alive. I've been with them. You know, many have come to the White House, to the Oval Office. I've been with many of the people that I got released. We have a fantastic group working on it. Steve Whitcock.
They'll be like, yeah, we made a new
amazing.
statue.
Jared, I have.
And I'm like, oh, I'm with my best friend. Wow.
You don't find
This is amazing.
And we have the
As long as you tell them it wasn't like liberals who put it there or something.
I think
Like the communists didn't put it there, Donald. They'd be like, wow, this is great.
And yeah, the people of Israel wanted to happen, but the people related to hostages, I mean, you see in Israel tens of thousands of people. They really want the hostages back, and they really want things to end. And I think Hamas now has been, all I can say is they've been fine. They've been fine. I
They've
hope
been
it's gonna
fine.
Continue that way. I think it will. I really think we're going to have a deal. We have a really good chance of making a deal, and it'll be a lasting deal. We want to have peace. This is beyond Gaza. Gaza's a big deal, but this is
Like, I can't see.
And Hamas has a lot of respect for him. They have a lot of respect for.
Is that my little rocket man up there? Is that my little rocket man?
Respect for UAE and.
Jordan, you put my little rocket man on a
Saudi
statue.
Arabia. We have everybody.
He's just
is
naming
on our
places
side to
now.
Get this deal done. There's never been anything like it. Nobody's ever seen it. There's always been like 80% of them don't want something done. I think virtually we even had a signal, a very strong signal, as you know, from Iran. They'd like to see this done.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. President, Governor Abbott offered up the Texas National Guard to
Oh, that's good.
you. Have you had any other conversations with other red state governors?
Yeah, they're willing to offer. Every one of them is willing to offer whatever we need. We thank Governor Abbott of Texas. Every one of the red state, as you call them, red state governors is willing to give whatever we need because they want our agents protected. You know, these ICE agents have a tough job. They have to go in and get, in many cases, stone cold criminals, hardened criminals, long-time criminals. And
They run up and grab families and random individuals on the street. They actually have a operation that's been leaked coming up called Operation Freaky Friday, in which they target unaccompanied minors. And what's coming up? Halloween. How many unaccompanied minors would there be on Halloween? The only silver lining is how many people will be wearing masks around all of those ICE officers who are usually wearing masks. But there's so many individuals out on Halloween. I'm sure people could really just disappear into a crowd easily, you know? I'm sure that they are. Wonder if they're thinking about that.
Republican governor has offered up whatever we need. And some Democratic governors also. Daniel?
Yeah, Mr. President, thank you. A question on the subject of the order. The Biden administration previously...
Which is a Friday. Is Halloween a Friday as well? Oh, I haven't even looked at that.
You reversed that, reversed it on day one. You opened it up, going after all the critical minerals. This mission of yours, Secretary Burgum, Secretary White, to boost our own independent production of critical minerals, rare
Well, it's
earths. Can
necessary,
you just talk
right?
about how important that is over the next 4 years, sir?
Well,
Good night,
it's very
boyo.
necessary.
See you in
know, the
20
past,
minutes
we
when
were
you
able to go
can't
to other
sleepies.
countries, buy whatever we want.
I'm sorry. Why did Stream Elements just notify everyone that the stream title sitting here is playing some No I'm Not Human? Fucking an hour and 12 minutes into stream where that's not the stream title?
But all of a
Good
sudden,
job,
if
buddy.
those countries are hostile,
Good job,
and by
Stream
the way,
Elements.
China hasn't been. We've made deals with China. You know, they approved the TikTok deal. Everyone said you'd never get the TikTok deal approved. They approved it, and we have great people buying it. American, big, strong American.
I just got a Duolingo. Yeah, you get like right now. There's like a thing apparently going with Duolingo with like drops if you subscribe to a channel or something. You get Duolingo Premium for a couple months. I don't fucking know. It shows it to me too. It's like, hey, do you want to subscribe to the channel? You get Duolingo. I'm like, first of all, I have Duolingo. Second of all, no. How am I going to subscribe? No.
So I'm not saying hostile, but it's good to have our own minerals, and you know, we created tremendous value by creating a road. We build a road that only we can do because we have the rights to do it, number one, and we have the power to do it. And so we build a road that's over 200 miles long through a very beautiful area of the world. Actually, it's incredible. When you look at it, it's incredible. But a rough area from the standpoint of building. So we get a road done.
Here's a picture of some
And with
crews.
that,
Oh,
we
cool.
unleash billions and billions of dollars of wealth. It's pretty
How you
amazing
doing, Tinkerbell?
when you think of it. And it's wealth that we need if we're going to be the #1 country. You know, we're #1 now with AI. You probably read. We're beating everybody with AI at levels that nobody ever thought even possible. And one of
The AI bubble is going to
reasons we
explode
are is
so
because of
vigorously.
energy. So our grid is old
Not
and
good.
tired, like most
Very
grids
not
are. They
good.
get old with time. I mean, you know, the older you are, the older the grid gets, right? But I've allowed the people building AI or other plants, other types of plants, but AI in particular, because they need so much electricity, I've allowed them to build their own power. And it's been amazing. They're building massive plants, and with the plant, they're building their own electricity. They've become a utility in a sense. I said, maybe you'll do better with the utility than you do with the AI. I don't know. But we're letting them build their own electricity. So we don't have to worry about the grid. We don't have to worry about anything. And they're going to build it in such a way that if they have excess capacity, they're going to put it back into the grid. It's pretty amazing. So when they build, we're giving them permits to build their own electric power plants, and it's incredible when you see what they're doing. And because of that and other...
He's also not going to mention like how these plants affect any of the areas near.
In terms of knowledge, it's basically information, and information at a level that nobody thought possible before. So we'll see. But they're building plants where you saw the one overlay that I did where, in this case it's Meta, one of their plants is essentially the size, almost the size of Manhattan. And that's a building, you know, it's a building that covers Manhattan. So it's big stuff. And nobody's even close to us. We're leading AI by so much.
Mr. President,
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Since the start of your administration, we've seen a lot more Americans wanting to join ICE. And as we're seeing more attacks on them right now, what's your message to rank and file ICE agents who are trying to do their jobs but are facing
His
1,000%
message to
increase
ICE
in
agents.
I love your questions, you know, I like you. So who are you with?
I'm with NTD.
Very
I was
good.
the one who got mugged.
You were the one, that's what I thought. You got mugged. You're not getting mugged anymore.
I was the one who got mugged. I was the one who got. Remember me? I got mugged.
She was really.
Do you remember,
lucky
Donald?
To be with us with that deal that happened. I know all about that. Not anymore though. You feel a different world out there, right?
Totally. If you're safe with the baby nowadays.
Oh, good. Well, you're safe now. You're not. Nobody's going to be hurting you in any way.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. Thank you.
This is
very much.
weird.
Thank you. So the bottom line on your question, we're just going to make things real safe. We're going to have a country that you can be proud of, not a country that you
Wow, what an answer. We're going to make it safe.
read about every day where somebody gets mugged from behind or hit over the head with a baseball bat. Those people aren't with us any longer. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. On today's call with Lula from Brazil,
Yeah.
are you considering lowering tariffs after the call?
Well, I had a great talk with the president of Brazil, who's a good man. I met him actually at the United Nations. I was going up to make a speech and I didn't have a teleprompter. I was
Oh my God, he's
walking
bitching
up to my
about the
I said, "You know, I
teleprompter.
don't have a teleprompter. But just
And I didn't have a teleprompter. And you know what I said? I said I didn't have a teleprompter. And that's what I
before
said.
that, I met with
He was
President
bigly
Lula,
air they made.
and I found him to be very good. I mean, we had a very good talk for about 2 minutes.
And there was an escalator
I
too.
went up to make a
There was this
speech, and I was
bastard
surprised to
escalator.
see- How would you like that one, Doug? I've got every leader in the world sitting out there. My teleprompter isn't on. You know what?
Dude, shut the
Daniel?
fuck up.
Because
Because of the
it was
White
a
House.
big deal.
No, it was because we have the info. Your White House administration was supposed to do your teleprompter. They didn't. Which, the fact that you don't know that means that they're afraid to tell you, I assume.
But fortunately, I made a better speech than I would have.
Or he just forgot already. That's also a possibility.
Read it off the teleprompter, which is pretty easy to do. So it was quite a day. That was a big day, but we met and we liked each other, and yeah, we had a great conversation. Yeah, we'll start doing business.
And are you considering traveling to Brazil for COP30?
At some point, I would, and he's going to come here. We talked about that.
And a follow-up question on Israel. Israel government has been arresting and deporting activists that were traveling to Gaza. Today, Greta Thunberg, for instance, also some...
Well, she's just a troublemaker, you know. I mean, she's no longer into the environment, now she's into this. She's a troublemaker. She has an anger management problem. I think she should see a doctor. She needs anger. If you ever watch her, she's a young person. She's so angry. She's so crazy. Now you can...
Why did they even... Why is it's told me again that I'm live? Why the fuck did they even bring up Greta Thunberg? Why even bring it? Why even bring her name up in the White House right now? When he's just going to say some stupid shit.
Never. You can have... She's just a troublemaker. Yeah,
The Supreme
please.
Court is back in its term today, Mr. President. and
Say it.
The Supreme Court is back in
Yeah.
session. They rejected today an appeal by Ghislaine Maxwell to overturn her conviction. That means her only chance of getting out of prison is a pardon from you. Is that something you're open
Who
to?
are we talking about?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Who?
You
Who
know, I
is
haven't
that?
heard the name in so long.
Oh my God, dude. I don't know who that is. I've been told to say I don't know who that is. Gihums? Maxwell. Let me think for a moment.
I'd say this, that I'd have to take a look at it. I would have to take a look. Did they reject that?
She wanted to appeal her conviction.
And what
They
happened?
said that they were not going to hear her appeal.
I see. Well, I'll take a look at it.
If you're considering
I will
that.
speak to the DOJ. I wouldn't consider it or not consider. I don't know anything about it. So, but I'll speak. I will speak to the DOJ.
Why would she be a candidate for clemency, sir?
I don't know. I mean, I'd have to speak to the DOJ. I'll look at it. I have a lot of people who have asked me for pardons. I call him Puff Daddy has asked me for a pardon.
But she was convicted of
You gonna use his nickname? Okay.
child sex trafficking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to take a look at it. I'd have to ask DOJ. I didn't know they rejected it. I didn't know she was even asking for it, frankly.
Tomahawk missiles
This is fucking crazy.
to Ukraine, sell them to NATO,
This is insane.
sell them to Ukraine.
Yeah, I've sort of made a decision, pretty much. If you consider, yeah, I think I want to find out what they're doing with them.
Yes.
You know, where are they sending them? I guess I'd have to ask that question. That war should never have started. Would have never started.
Joe
Since
Biden.
bad
Joe
judgment
Biden.
was used there. I think on
Joe
both
Biden.
sides, by the way. But nobody looks good with the war with Russia and Ukraine. Nobody. It's been a horrible. This week they lost over 7,000 soldiers between the two of them.
How we doing?
Is it-
This has been a very, very, very frustrating Donald Trump speaking time for
Every week they're losing
for many
7,000,
reasons.
8,000, 5,000.
They have a range of like 1,500 miles or something, and so they'd be able to.
No, I know. No, I would ask some questions.
Is he talking about? I don't think so.
I'm not looking to see.
We've talked about a couple different rambles and things. Said some terrible things about Greta. He talked for a moment about how we're going to destroy Alaska, some other stuff.
And tomorrow you're meeting with the Canadian Prime Minister. What's on the agenda for that?
Yeah, and he's like, Ghislaine, who's, what's that? And he's like, I call him Puff Daddy. He asked me for a pardon. Puff Daddy.
Moving into the United States, everybody's moving back into the U.S. and he's probably going to be asking about tariffs. They're losing a lot of companies in Canada. They're coming into they left here. They left here 20 years ago when presidents that sat right at this desk weren't doing their job properly. They were probably good politicians, but they weren't good at business, and they allowed these companies to leave. And all they had to do is do what I'm doing right now. And, I'm not saying it's the easiest thing to do, but it is. It's effective. We're a rich country again. We're a powerful country because,
But I thought we had, we're everything and nothing. We are in Schrodinger's country. We have no money, but there's infinite money on the tariff shelf. and we've got $17 trillion in imaginary monopoly money that there's no deals that were ever made.
In 7 wars, at least half of them was because of my ability at trade and because of tariffs. If I didn't have tariffs to throw around a little bit, you would have at least 4 wars raging right
Dude,
now with
what are you
thousands of
talking
people a day
about?
being killed that aren't happening. We settled. You know, we
Oh
settled
my
7.
God.
We're getting close to settling.
If
8.
there'd be global war, if you took away my ability to have tariffs, there'd be a war everywhere. The whole planet would explode if I couldn't do tariffs.
That would be a big one.
I would cry.
That's something that could happen. But so I think he's coming probably to talk about tariffs because a lot of companies.
He doesn't
are
even
leaving
know
Canada
why.
to come into the
Here it is, yeah.
And they're leaving
He's like, I don't know. I think he's coming to talk about tariffs.
Mexico. And by the way, they're leaving China. They're leaving all over the world to come into the U.S.
And would you
Nobody's actually seen anything like it.
Would you shift your position on tariffs in response to whatever?
Well, I mean, look, my position.
I never changed my position. I'm never wrong.
I'm right. They find billions.
Everyone said I'm right.
Dollars that they didn't even know they had.
Everyone has said I'm right.
Recently, they said they found
Yeah, and
billions of dollars.
And I said to him,
and they couldn't
did you
understand
check the
why. I said,
tariff
"Check
shelf?
The tariff shelf.
Did you check the tariff
And they
shelf?
come in the next hour, they
But
said,
did you
"You're
check the
right, it's
tariff
from the
shelf?
tariffs."
Have you checked the
We're a
tariff
rich-
shelf, sir?
We're a rich country again.
I'm
but
going
more
bananas.
maybe, influence.
The
If I
fucking
didn't have
tariff
the
shelf
power of
again.
tariffs, you would have.
Are we back? Hello? All right, we're back. Amazing. Awesome. Okay.
Because of tariffs. Not only do we make, hundreds of billions of dollars, but we're a peacekeeper because of tariffs.
Are we?
Mr. President.
On the shutdown, Mr. President, the shutdown that occurred during your first term lasted 35 days.
Yeah.
How long do you expect this shutdown to go?
Well, you don't know. Look, I can say this, that it would have not happened except for the Democrats. The Democrats are very foolish. They've lost their way. And we have a new thing now when you look at, it's called crime. It's called absolute, as Biden would say, well, I won't say what he would have said. Remember when he said, it's a 3-letter word, no. Remember that one? Everyone would say, what was that all about? He probably meant exclamation point or something after the word. But this is a 5-letter word, crime, C-R-I-M-E. And we want to put it out and are putting it out.
I am amazed that he spelled crime.
And they don't seem to care about it, but they do care. I believe that Pritzker and this mayor of
I'm
Chicago
amazed.
that like to say about they don't have it under control. Not only is it not under control, it's the opposite. And I believe they're afraid, they're scared for their lives. I believe that the Portland
Yes, there's a
people are
deep-seated
scared. You look at
conspiracy.
what's happened with Portland over the years. It's a burning hellhole.
I see what they're like is
And then
actually
you
happening,
have
but I believe
a
differently.
judge that lost her way, that tries to pretend that there's no
Looks healthier than I would
problem.
like.
Actually,
I was really excited the day that he had
she's
like the
not even
stroke.
saying that. There's a huge problem in Portland. I'll tell you what the problem is. Crime. Okay, crime. There's a huge problem in Chicago. It's called crime. And we want to put out the crime, and they want to inflame the crime. And why they want to, I don't know. But it could be that Pritzker is scared for his life. Yeah.
You have
please.
that judge on the UN. Do you have an update on the investigation into what happened to you at the UN last month? And also, what's your message to Americans who are concerned about
We're
your and
bringing up the UN again?
Yeah, I am out there. There's no question about it. Well, at the UN, we had a problem with the teleprompter.
Holy shit, we're gonna get the teleprompter talk again? And then we're gonna get the escalator talk. Also, the thing about the escalator, I'm really not surprised that he got this upset about the escalator after we have now found out his deep-seated fear of staircases. He's absolutely fucking batshit terrified of staircases. So the fact that the escalator shut off probably did him in.
We had
That
another
he was
problem
like,
that
I
nobody
can't
was
even go up
actually
on
talking
stage
about.
now.
The people in the room.
They could have
didn't hear my
killed me.
speech. Did you know that? The people in the room, they didn't have any loudspeakers, and they didn't hear my speech. And I thought I made a really good speech. I mean, considering I didn't have the use of teleprompter, which is unusual. But I made a speech. I could have walked off the stage. I guess most
fucking
people, Doug, I
teleprompter.
think most people would have just said, we'll see you in about a half an hour, right? But, you know, they obviously turned off the I think they turned off the teleprompter, but there was a reason that it didn't work. I actually know the reason. They didn't let the teleprompter person into the room, okay, which is essentially the same thing. So I made a speech. It turned out to be a very good speech.
So
Got
it's
good
called-
reviews. I went out
Who?
to
Name
the
a
audience after the
review.
speech. I saw my wife.
Name a review that you got from that
How
speech
good
and
was
what
that
it said.
speech? Was that unbelievable or what? She said, I didn't hear a word you said. I said, what do you mean? She was sitting in the front. I said, what do you mean? She said, you couldn't hear anything that you said. The speakers were turned off. So I think that's pretty bad stuff, right? You know, especially.
Oh my God. Did they cut his speakers from going out to like
Actually,
a
since we
bunch of the
support
people
most of the
there?
United Nations.
Is that what he's saying?
And yet I still want to keep it in New York because I think the United Nations has tremendous potential. If properly run, the United States has tremendous potential. But think of this. I settled 7 wars. I never spoke to the United Nations about it. Not one of them. You look at, and those were wars that were raging a long time. And in many
If it weren't for
cases,
tariffs.
I settled 7. I never heard from the
And
United.
if
they
it
didn't
weren't
help
for
me.
tariffs.
They should be able to settle the wars. I shouldn't have to be settling the wars. Yeah, please.
Last week you signed the security guarantees for Qatar.
Yeah.
Do you see any role for the Senate in that? Did they have to vote on that? Or do you think?
Well, I wouldn't mind if they did. If they want to, they'd let me know. Nobody said that, but you know, Qatar's been very, very helpful.
Did he just
to
say
us in
guitar?
this, process, and
that wasn't even like that was a strong guitar.
Fine,
Guitar.
If they did, if they want to, they'd let me know. Nobody said that, but you know, Qatar's been very, very helpful to us in this.
Yeah, Qatar's been great.
and I think you'll find that. I think maybe the most influential.
What kind of
very
guitar?
Influential, very strong. With Hamas, they're very strong. And Turkey's likewise been helpful. I mean, honestly, UAE, Saudi Arabia, everybody's been helpful. I just spoke today with the King of Jordan, and he's been terrific too. I can't think of any country that's been negative about this. This is why it should happen. I mean, everybody wants it to happen. And usually when everybody, including, I think, Hamas, and when they want it to happen, it's going to happen.
James Comey is being arraigned on Wednesday,
Yeah.
obviously after his indictment. Are you worried that your own statements calling for his prosecution could help him actually in his defense of this case?
No, I think he's a crooked guy. He's a dirty cop. Comey, I think he's a dirty cop. He's recognized by many people to be a dirty cop.
By whom?
And,
For what?
Dishonest guy. So
Why?
all
What do
I
you-
have to do is, I mean,
What did
I
he
have
do?
nothing to do with the case. I
Just
say,
the Russia and stuff?
Good luck.
With you because he investigated you?
No, I don't call anybody. You know what? I'm allowed to do that if I want.
Hey, look at that, I'm live.
But Comey's a crooked guy. He has been
cool.
for years. And he got caught. Look, he lied. This is just a simple case. He totally lied. And then he confirmed the lie on, I guess, numerous occasions, or at least one occasion. He confirmed the lie. He said, that's
Good
what
job,
I said. and I
Stream
stand by
Elements.
it. And, you know, I mean, the guy, and he didn't say, to the best of my knowledge. He didn't say, well, I don't remember. He made a very definitive statement and a very important statement concerning him. And he got caught in an outright lie, and that's why
Donald, you lie
a
with
group of
every
people-
word that comes out of your
wasn't
little
me
shit
that
box.
voted, they voted to indict him. But he's a crooked guy, in my opinion, and we'll find out. The court's going to determine that in a little while, I guess, yeah.
You met with members of the Navy yesterday, Mr. President.
Yeah, I'm going to do some farm stuff this weekend.
You know, farm stuff.
Navy yesterday celebrating.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, you had a Trump rally there.
Talk about that, and as we get closer to America's 250th, you've initiated a prayer initiative as well.
Yeah.
Talk to me about both of those events and why.
Prayer
they're so important,
initiative.
particularly the prayer initiative going forward to the.
Well, we have, and we're
Yeah, I
dealing, as you
can.
know, with all of the different, and not just evangelicals, Christians. We're dealing with lots of different faiths, religions, and I felt for a long time that if a country doesn't have religion, doesn't have faith, doesn't have God, it's going to be very hard to be a good country. You know, there's no reason to be good. I want to be good because you want to prove to God that you're good, so you go to that next step, right?
And you know, I gotta be good. I gotta be as good as I can be because I'm taking staircases, and you never know when one staircase ride is gonna be your last. You never know. Any staircase ride could be, unless you're Obama. Unless you're he just beep bop boop bop skilly doops all right down them stairs.
So that's very important to me. I think it's really very important. And yesterday was amazing.
He's terrified of dying.
We went to the naval base, the largest in the world, actually, and I saw things that were incredible. The level of I don't want to use the word weapons, but they are weapons. The technology on these planes, on the carriers, on all of the different things that we saw. They gave us missile displays. They did the whole. I don't think they've ever.
They shot off
done anything
missiles.
like it, but it was really impressive, and the talent of the pilots where they can land.
Seriously?
You know, the aircraft carriers look massive, but when you put them in the middle of like the
Well,
Atlantic.
yeah,
or
during a government
in this
shutdown.
case,
During a government shutdown, we're shooting off missiles to entertain President Toddler. We're shooting off missiles because he wants to go, wow.
Far off the coast of Virginia, and it's sitting in a big ocean, and it was pretty calm yesterday, but it's still a little bit testy, right? And you'd have these guys land right on a thing and come to a sudden screeching halt, and they're really something. They were taking off yesterday, and they look over, yes, sir, and then you see them, and you know, you see them just get ripped back into the seat because the G-forces are so great. And actually, if you're not in great shape, because they were doing maneuvers that were incredible yesterday, and the admirals were explaining that if you're not in really good shape, you don't make it because you pass out. You know, these guys, and women. I met some women pilots that I mean, it's incredible what they're able to do. So we saw something that was great, and you saw the spirit because we had for a couple of thousand. I think they had probably 20, 22,000.
Seemed surprised that there was
largely sailors.
women who were allowed to
all dressed in the most beautiful
be
white.
pilots.
There wasn't a spot on any of those uniforms. I looked at them. It was just a wave of white, and it was a great crowd.
Oh, I bet you'd like a wave of white,
So,
Donald.
You know, getting back to a very important question that was asked when
There's
you go back
all
a
white
year
people.
ago, people weren't joining the armed forces. They weren't joining the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, the Coast Guard, Air Force. If you look at, you know, any of them, they weren't joining Space Force. And now we're setting records, recruitment. And that
Please
goes
just have
for
to do
police
what
and
we were
fire.
talking about.
No, they want to be policemen, they want to be firemen.
Please don't bring up firemen on
And
ladders.
firemen, people don't mention them, they're incredible. I know so many of them, they're brave as hell. I wouldn't want to do it.
Please don't bring up the
But
ladders.
they weren't able to recruit, the police weren't able to recruit, and the military wasn't.
That
able
was
to
close.
recruit. We were
We
really
almost heard about
And
the
I got
ladders
elected.
there.
It really started on November 5th. I got elected, and somehow the country developed a spirit. Financially, yes, but also with the military. And now we have record levels of people wanting to be in. Every force is filled. We have waiting lists to get into the Marines, to the Army, to the Navy, to the Air Force. We have Coast Guard. We have waiting lists to get in. It's amazing, actually, what's happened. We have a country it was a dead country, and I say it all the time. We had a
Now
dead
we're the
country
hottest
1 year ago.
country.
Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world, and it's nice to see you. I've watched you for years on television, so it's nice to meet you. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Let's go. Thank
I've watched you for years on television. It's nice to meet you. Huh. Oh, okay. Oh, God, there's another thing. There's another thing. Oh, my God. Here's that song that was requested. Here we go with that song that was requested.
I'm losing my leverage. All of the evidence that I'm not justified. Too deep in my head.
I can see his bald head through where I put my weed. Means it's good to go. If I can see the shine on his head. Cheers before we have to listen to Pee Wee German. His forehead's already wrinkled up. This needs to be cleaned. This very much needs to be cleaned. Finish the song. It's got 2 minutes left. And then we'll continue with this.
Collaboratively with the mayor, we have a...
Every day I feel like we are living through the largest possible example of the bystander effect. Every single day I feel like we are all stuck in the bystander effect. Just watching this happen, knowing that it shouldn't be. Oh, by the way, I haven't read the memorandum. Hadn't read out the memorandum yet. Wait till the song finishes. Was loud. Jesus. Whew. Gotta purchase some beverages at BRB if you're still here when we get back. Alright. See you when you get back. Probably, potentially. If not, good night. Alright. So, the executive order Department of War security for the protection of federal personnel and property in Illinois. So, here's what it says. The Department of War security for the protection of federal personnel and property in Illinois. The situation in the state of Illinois, particularly in and around the city of Chicago, cannot continue. Federal facilities in Illinois, including those directly supporting Immigration and Customs Enforcement and the Federal Protective Services, have come under coordinated assault by violent groups intent on obstructing federal law enforcement activities. These groups have sought to impede the deportation and removal of criminal aliens through violent demonstrations, intimidation, and sabotage of federal operations. these violent activities appear to be increasing, and the situation in the state of Illinois, particularly in and around the city of Chicago, cannot continue. These activities are not occurring in isolation. Instead, these activities are similar to other ongoing efforts in multiple states and cities around the country to disrupt the federal enforcement of the faithful enforcement of the federal law. On June 7th, 2025, I determined that similar activities warranted the mobilization of the National Guard. Likewise, at the end of September, I directed the Secretary of War to mobilize the National Guard due to ongoing violence and interference with the federal law enforcement in Oregon. In those prior directives, and in this instance, I have determined that these incidents, Jesus Christ, as well as the credible threat of continued violence, impede the execution of laws of the United States. I have further determined that the regular forces of the United States are not sufficient to ensure the laws of the United States are faithfully executed, including in Chicago. In both past incidents in Chicago and the credible threat of future incidents, and in the light of my determinations by the authority vested in me as the president, by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, including 10 U.S.C. 12406, I hereby call into federal service at least 300 members of the Illinois National Guard until the governor of Illinois consents to a federally funded mobilization under Title 32 of the United States Code of the Illinois National